This is American Real, where we aim to inspire, empower, and enlighten you through the stories of our guests. Here's your host, Roger Brooks.
Why is it so hard for people to love? Why?
Because you're coming from your mind. You didn't say, why is it so hard for people to love? You said, why is it so hard for people to love? And it's like, that's why. Because are you even present to love? What are you doing? You're not even seeing. Your head's all over the place. It is the process, Roger, of doing this and realizing we're doing this, to not do this for a little while, and then sit for a little while, and then decide, where do we want to experience life from? Where does it feel the best? Where is true love?
This is American Real. I am Roger Brooks. My guest today is Biji Carrea. You are an energy master and a new earth visionary who comes from an ancient lineage of shamans and ascended masters. You bring forth your abundance of wisdom and love to all. Biji, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Roger, so much for having me here. I like having me here. That was quite the intro. Who doesn't want to hang out with that person?
I agree. And that's why we're together today. And I thank you so much for all you're doing with your organization, with Mikko, and with the Love All D family, and for those that are connected to you and for the world. I mean, you're doing really, really important work. Your work is affecting me and the team that I work with. And I'm so grateful for the connection.
Wow, I receive, Roger. I'm gonna take a moment to receive this. Wow, because the work we do for love is silent, thankless, and oftentimes unseen, and it just feels tremendous to be sitting here in front of you and be recognized for my pure love energy. Because it took so much to cultivate. And so thank you.
Yes, and that's why I love doing these interviews, because it gives people a chance not only to reflect and tell a piece of their story during our time together, but for those that are listening and watching, to hear and then relate to their own lives. Like, okay, yeah, I may have been through something similar, or, that's really interesting what she went through. Maybe I could look at it this way. So there's so many benefits that come out of these conversations. And the other thing about it that I love is that even though we're recording this today, because of our technology, the conversations will live on indefinitely. So our kids and grandkids, and who knows how long, people will be listening and watching. So that's why I treat them very, very special, because each interview is special. And I have to tell you, our last session, which we'll talk about a little bit today, has helped me even realize that even more. Like, I knew it was important, but now I realize the importance of the importantness of it, right? And as you said, love is I think it's a word that's sometimes used, loosely. And when you practice it like you and your team do on a regular basis, and then people like me are able to witness that and process that, it's one thing to say and talk about all this stuff, but then it's another thing to do it. And it's the hard work. It's in those quiet moments, the hard work you guys do every day. And, I don't normally talk this much. So I've already talked more in this interview than I have in all the interviews combined. But no, it's really, I mean, it's a really important thing, and it's all about love. And it sounds, you know, for most people, I think it could sound a little out there, but at the end of the day, it's not. That's why
It's out there.
why we are there. That's why
love is out there for all.
Yes.
You're right. You're right. Our minds can feel so far away from experiencing that kind of love. Is that love real? And what does that even mean? And how do I feel it when I can't even feel myself? How do I even wrap my head around what love is? Did I feel it from my parents? Did I feel it between them? Do I feel it for my own children? What does that mean? Does it mean putting food on the table and making sure that everything is taken care of? Or does it mean being happy with them, or, you know, allowing them to feel or cry or go through their difficult medicine moments of life? Is that love? Right? It's really interesting what you're bringing up, because that's the journey I was on. I wanted to find true love on this planet, because I felt from very early on that's the reason I was here. And everything I was experiencing around me was not true love. I looked for it in my family, in religion, in my relationships, within me, and I didn't feel love. So when you don't feel love, it's hard to believe that it exists. Of course, it's out there. Do the movies tell me about it? Is it Lifetime channel? Is it Disney? Like, is it soap opera? How do I know what love is? Love is when people argue about money. Is it love when, right? When I was, so this is interesting. When I was 19 years old, my project got chosen to be funded. It was a documentary, and my project got chosen to be funded. So I did a documentary called The Phenomena of Finding Love. Wow. And I'm 19 years old. What do I know about love? I don't know. But through this process, I actually ended up being on a local PBS radio show, talking as an expert on love. By then I was 21, with other, with other experts who really knew, maybe didn't know, I don't know, with a club promoter who thought he knew where you could find love, and it's really interesting, this quest that I've had my whole life, to say, well, if it's not love, then I don't need to be here. What do I need to be here for? And I just feel like there was a moment, I knew that I met Mikko for a reason, when I was finally ready to let go of everything and really be fully committed to a journey of do or die. We're going to take our family, we're going to go find unconditional, holy grail, infinite source love. If it's on the planet, we're going to find it. So we started following our hearts. We got rid of everything that we didn't want to get rid of. It's been a recent practice the last several years that I go out of my way to find something that's my favorite thing. So with conscious intention to let go of it as soon as possible. So that's the practice of manifestation. That's what I found out in this journey with Mikko, is be willing to do the most difficult thing, because your heart will always ask you to take those hero's leaps, right? The hero's journey that you and I talked about in our session. Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. It requires everything of us, because in return you have access to everything. So that's the 108 hero's journey. We call it one based on this life. You have something, you have this container, you've got your stories, you've got your relationships, you got your attachments. That's the one. You go on this hero's journey consciously. You go to zero, which is nothing. You got to get to nothing so that you realize that the infinite source has everything for you. Anything other than that, you get your ego reward, right? They say that in the Bible, you have your reward. You get your reward. If it's for your ego, you have your reward. But if it's for love, if it's for God, there is no reward other than knowing that you did it for God, right? There's no attachment, right? No results oriented. So you go into that infinite zero, complete trust. And we went on this journey with 2 kids and 2 cats. It's a hard journey to go on by yourself. And I had enough savvy to know it wasn't in India. You don't take that inner journey to India. You take that inner journey through all those difficult moments. You don't want to do the most difficult things, right? So we went on this journey, and this journey absolutely led us to the Holy Grail. It did. We went to zero, and then zero led to everything. It went to the infinite 8. So the 108 journey, we did it with our children. And we can't talk about the cats because they had their own soul path along the way. But I've got to tell you, they lived an adventure. They lived an adventure before they didn't want to be on the journey with us anymore. But because we have this infinite holy grail of energy, we can now share it with the planet. And that's what's happening. People, and it's small, and it's pure, but it's small right now. Nobody knows about us yet. Nobody knows of this potential. It's just this potential right now. It's been a potential for a long time until one day it blooms into that lotus flower or that forest of bamboo trees that took 7 years for it to emerge. And all of a sudden, where there was nothing, there's a forest of bamboo trees. The things that heaven creates takes a long time because it's pure. And I have a personal story as well with St. Francis of Assisi. There is a movie that I would love for you to see. It is called Brother, Sun, and Sister Moon. Have you seen it? It is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I watched that when I was 14 years old in Catholic school. And I was inspired. My heart was shattered into 1,000 pieces of humility and love. And I knew that's the pure love I was searching for, is that pure love. And how interesting that at the time he was a rebel. He was a woke person. He was a truther. He was, fighting against the matrix. And then how interesting that after he goes, without his consent, they saint him. And so now he's part of the Catholic Church. He would have wanted nothing to do with the Catholic Church. But anyway, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I want to share that song that's in that movie. Talks about how when God creates, it's with one tiny, small heart, pure heart gives. They're invisible and just, it's incredible. For me, this is my path is a path of a devotee. And the only reason I'm here, being on camera, is because it's part of my calling, it's part of my training, it's part of my work. Honestly, if Mikko and I could do this work invisibly, anonymously, silently, we would continue to do that. But I feel that 16 years of boot camp on this hero's journey forced us to confront our resistance to not wanting to be out there. So this is a big deal for us. I've been out there on a public level for my career. in broadcasting, but never as myself in this healing work that I've chosen.
I'm honored to be in this position for you both. And I feel there's no coincidence to any of this, right? I mean, there's no coincidence. The show itself that we put on, our whole theme is to raise the level of global consciousness in the world through the stories of others, right? But the show itself is also evolving to be more conscious and focused on stories like yours and Mikko's. That's the true work that I want to do, and that I want to help people understand and live. And we can't do that every single episode, but there's special episodes like yours and Mikko's that is the focus, and it's just, again, it's an honor to be on this side, receiving that from you and him, to be able to broadcast that out to our audience and beyond. And I, again, I'm so honored that this is your beginning too. Like, you guys, although you say it's small, to me, I see it. I see where this is going, and I'm just really honored to be a part of it and to have this great conversation. So, in the St. Francis story. Wow.
I have chills, Roger. It's wonderful to be on a podcast where the talking is out trumped by the experience of feeling and connecting.
Yes, that's great. And that's why these podcasts are great, because we can be ourselves.
I love it.
And no one really cares at the end of the day, because it's the message behind it that's important.
Yeah, these are the authentic moments. I have authentically you every Sunday. These are the moments I go, okay, those are the moments I'm waiting for. These moments. Because it's crazy to me that we're conditioned to watch on media the most important, authentic moments of the human experience, all edited out so perfectly. The lighting is perfect. No, I get it, because I am a connoisseur of good production, but there's something so wonderful. Whenever I've gone into production, I waited for those sneezes. I waited for the plane to fly over, and everybody's like looking up and angry. I told our cameraman, get those moments. One of the guidances that I gave to one of my favorite DPs was, use your heart energy to be the eyes of the camera. So instead of using your mind to go capture what people are doing, your heart knows several seconds before anything happens what's going to happen, where the energy is going to be.
Totally.
Get there before the action happens.
And Biji, isn't that a metaphor for life? Like our eyes are that lens, right? Have that heart energy felt
right there
all the time. Yes.
How can what you create in reality be the same when you're using all that to create reality versus just numbers, linear thinking? It can't yield the same results.
So let's help some people today. And I think it would be great if we could start, we talked about love, right? But let's start with talking about true inner happiness and self-love, because we know this, we can't help others unless we truly have inner happiness, which is the hardest thing to capture, and true self-love, where you're so comfortable with yourself that now you can help others.
I just dinged you, Roger. I dinged you. I caught you on a limited belief.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a limited belief that true inner happiness is difficult to capture.
Thank you.
It's really our natural state of being.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Why? Why do we need to know that?
Well, Because as long as you feel that it's this difficult, incredibly elusive, outside of us force, now how are you ever going to vibrationally, energetically resonate to embody that? And then you have that energy to use it to create something.
So true inner, yes. So true inner happiness is actually the easiest thing to embrace because we already have it. We just have to accept it.
Yes. We have to allow it. We have to surrender to it. We can't think we're smarter because that's the resistance.
And this is where words are so important, right? I mean, I made that phrase.
Yeah.
And you were strong enough to correct me because I've made that phrase before.
Okay. I don't know if it was strength so much as just presence. I was listening to you. Yes. And it vibrationally felt like, that's off. So if I'm in my mind and I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next, I would have missed that.
Wow.
I'm here with you, Roger. Everything you're emitting energetically, I am feeling and receiving. And then checking into, well, is that in the highest service of you and your listeners and our listeners and the planet? That's consciousness. That's what conscious energy is useful for. It's in those moments. And only when we do the proper energy work every single day to be present, are we present enough to allow that inner happiness to shine through and enjoy these moments like this.
Right.
It's in enjoying these inner moments in outer ways that connects to our happiness. Like you have this smile on your face. I don't know if you're trying to like not smile bigger or you're, I don't know what's going on with your mouth. You're going like this. I'm going to try to do it for you. You're going, and it's like fighting to either go real big. I don't know. I say, remember, my guidance was let your freak flag flow.
Yes.
You know, that's inner happiness. Is me observing you, feeling happy. And then that makes you happy. And then you being happy makes me happy. And then we get all high on that happiness. And that's inner happiness. I could have told you about it in these kind of ways. Or I could have just started being innerly happy with you right now. Right. Right now. We choose to be happy right now. How do we choose to be happy? Not with our mind, but through our experience, through our energetic experience. I've got to feel happy in my heart. Otherwise, I can say I'm happy all I want, and then my life will reflect back to me unhappiness. And that disconnect is suffering.
And these old habits, how do we break through? How do we break through not being present? How do we break through letting our emotions out? Is that practice in itself? Is that being?
That's the work. What you're asking is, how do I stay in my soul conscious awareness every single day, seeped in a human density? In my human container, in my human matrix life, every day dealing with people with masks on and the news. And how do I stay in my soul awareness through all that is every single day work. That's the whole reason we came to this planet, to be able to do this work. And the faster our engines, like I'll give you an example. Everybody's energetic engine runs, right? It runs. Some people are really stuck, so it doesn't run. Some people have cancer, so there's something really stuck there, right? But if your light body, what they call light body, meaning your frequency and your vibration is not affected as much by being human, then your engine should run like this all the time. Because when energy comes in, you're digesting, just like your stomach. You're digesting energy. There are yogis who are called breatharians, and they survive on air alone. They don't drink water and they don't eat food, and they're alive forever. I mean, not forever, but they're alive for a long time. And they're digesting energy, they're digesting sun energy, and they're just by being alive and setting the conscious intention, they're receiving all the energy their body needs, their whole energy body system needs. And so they're showing us what's possible in this human container. There are magnificent avatars birthed into human containers in the history of humanity. The impossible's always making it the possible, right? Showing us what's possible. And so every single day, we can work to get that engine going faster and faster and faster until you're emanating one single, vibration and energy, vibration and frequency from one frequency band. So this is something that I'll explain really quickly because I feel like it might be helpful. I don't know. I'm going with it. So we have frequency bands. From here to here has certain experiences that are incorporated into the vibration of what's here, like fear and resistance and denial and trauma and lack-based programming. And we have lots, right? And that equals a certain amount of experiences, but they are still within this level. You got to really shift your energy body up to go to the next level of frequency band. Now, these frequency bands, they're many. 12. So, yeah, our 12th DNA strands are all frequency bands we can activate by doing energy practice and energy training until you get to the place where you can hang out in the highest frequency band and you can go up and down from here, but you're never going to dip down to here. And so you're consistently staying in that heart center place where you're coming from, that soul awareness that all has been created by Source. So we love all. There's nothing else to it. Why is there so much noise, so much story? Why there's so many podcasts about this? When Source created all, so we love all. And when you see it from Source's eyes, the whole thing is pretty darn beautiful. And it's all working pretty amazing.
So the first thing that comes to mind after you say this, why is it so hard for people to, it bothers me so much. Like, why is it so hard for people to love? Why?
I love this. I love this.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel it. I feel it.
Why?
Because you're coming from your mind. You didn't say, why is it so hard for people to love? You said, why is it so hard for people to love? That's why. Because are you even present to love? What are you doing? You're not even seeing. Your head's all over the place. It's all about your own personal fingers and toes. That's not love. So as long as we're doing this about love, it's gonna be hard. So we gotta why was I doing that? Oh, was I doing that? Oh, why was I doing that? Who's making me do that? Oh, I was making you do that? Okay, maybe I don't do that anymore. Maybe I sit down and maybe I breathe a little bit. And then I check into my deeper connection to my heart, where all the answers are. In that silence is everything that was already there 16 years ago before Mikko and I went on this journey at all. We didn't have to leave. We didn't have to do any of it because it turns out it was all in here. But it was the journey that brought out that evidence. People could have told us. I read Eckhart Tolle. Everybody, Abraham Hicks, Joe Vitale, everybody told me. But it wasn't in me until I went on the journey. So it is the process, Roger, of doing this and realizing we're doing this, to not do this for a little while, and then sit for a little while, and then decide, where do we want to experience life from? Where does it feel the best? Where is true love? Where is self-love? Where is that inner connection to source, to real conscious love, awareness, awake, being awake to all the truth of the matrix. See, we can only share aspects of the truth when we've only unveiled aspects of ourselves. But when we have gone and confronted all of ourselves through many lifetimes, through even lineage generations, I've gone back 40 generations on each of my parents' side to do this healing work on a generational energetic clearing level. In the beginning, it seemed overwhelming just to go through the last 5 years of my life or the last 10 years of my life. It's just the amount of work that it took to do generational work is tremendous. Without consciousness, there's no way we can do this work. It's that connection to your inner self, where all that energy comes from, that allows us to continue to evolve and break past the impossible to make it possible for yourself. If anyone can do it, why not you? Right? That's what I said. I'm like, well, if all these people can do it and all they did was leave this job and leave their riches, and so they're saying there is a way to do this. So why not me? Why not see if this is real? Because I come from, as a broadcast journalist, which says nothing. Now I have love, but a little bit of, I'm going to be authentic here, I have shame around the state of the media right now. And I was taught by, I was taught that you don't state anything without sources. You don't state anything if you have a personal attachment or agenda. If you're receiving money or kickbacks or anything, then you're not fit to share that information. None of that is happening in the media right now. It's very difficult to find pure-hearted journalists who are risking their lives to share the truth. That's one of the things that we can use as a discernment of what's happening out there in the world right now, because there's so much happening, and it is a disinformation war. It is a war on consciousness. It is a spiritual war. It is an invisible war. The World War II has never ended, is what it's turning out to be, and there's tremendous disinformation happening right now. So how do we discern truth within ourselves? Is on a real practical level. Who are the ones who are risking their lives to tell the truth? Who are the ones suffering day in and day out? Every breath they're prisoners, or they are held captive, or they are risking, like I said, risking their lives to tell the truth. No matter what, they get nothing out of it. They're putting their lives and the lives of those that they love in danger to share the truth. That's where you're going to find your truth. It isn't going to be the ones who are living comfortable, where all they have to do is get up in the morning and put on a suit and put on a microphone and talk. They're not putting anything on the line for what's happening on the planet right now. And right now, all of us are being asked to put our hearts on the line for what is true. What is true for us, what is true for freedom, what is true for the expansion of this beautiful new earth that's birthing from all this chaos that's happening on the planet right now. Where do we stand in that? There's no more fence sitting. because the frequency and the vibration will not allow it anymore. You will instantaneously see where someone's heart is at because you will feel it. They will call themselves out, or others will call them out. They will keep reflecting drama. And on the new earth, when I keep saying that, I'm not talking about a different plane. I'm talking about our own personal experience with our own environment. The new earth is here if you're happy. If you're truly soul happy, then you've made it to the new earth. So on this new earth, there's freedom. There's freedom to live however we feel inspired to live. There's allowance because there are no threats. Because we can count on the fact that if somebody is not doing their energy work, they will live in drama. And anyone who's living in drama will be looked at by the conscious beings as somebody who still has work to do. That they still are hurting, they're still in pain, they still need to be deprogrammed, they still need to find that connection with themselves and really live from their own essence. So it's not going to be one of judgment, it's going to be one of compassion. These are our brothers and sisters. These are reflections of ourselves. Let's be there for them and help them rise into their own being. But it is absolutely going to be apparent by the amount of drama somebody attracts into their life. Is going to be evident of their vibration and frequency reality.
You have so many questions off of that, and thank you for that. But okay, first you talked about the media, and you have experience being on the other side, and I'm just curious. It's kind of a curiosity question. Why are there so many reporters, anchors, whatever you want to call them, who are they listening to if they're not listening to themselves? Why is the truth not there for the majority of our news? And I can't even watch the news anymore because it's just really, you could just tell it's not authentic, as you pointed out.
And in the past that worked. But it's not working anymore because the people are waking up looking for authenticity. So Roger, I mentioned earlier that there's a war on consciousness right now. If there is a war on consciousness, then what are the tools and what are the products? We are. What we believe is power. So if the powers that be want to manipulate our power, then wouldn't the media be the most amazing tool ever? So in and of itself, the infrastructure in and of itself invites in non-neutrality. And there you go is the problem. That's why you can't find truth. Because when there is no truth in the matrix, and you're looking for truth inside the matrix, and you're trying to report the truth. Hi, reporting live, 10 o'clock, from the inside the matrix where there is no truth. Let me tell you a little bit about the truth. It doesn't work like that. You got to get out of the matrix to figure out if there's truth in what you're seeing from the matrix. And that's why those who are risking their lives are the ones that we should check in about the most, because they're the ones who've exited the matrix. Why would they exit the matrix? Why are they leaving their comfortable lifestyles and their cushy salaries to risk their own lives, their own credibility, and those that they love to share the truth? Why?
Because it's the right thing to do.
And how do you know it's the right thing to do?
It goes back to pure love, right?
Yeah, I mean, if there's no other reason that somebody says, I have to be here alive on this planet other than to share this truth, then, man, whatever it is, we should listen to that guy. Whatever it is, whether that's truth or not, well, at that point, discern. But I'd rather listen to that guy and see what he has to say than to listen to the person who's all pretty and, you know, and then they just get into their own life, and that's nothing lost for the words that they're saying. No responsibility, no accountability for what they're sharing is not as vested. You're not vested. And love, true conscious love in action is a vested thing. We invest into ourselves. We invest into those things that we love. We invest into those people that we love. We invest in love if we're gonna be on the path to rise it. So rise it, right? We have to be invested. Those people who are not invested, watch out for those. Those people who profit, watch out for those. Don't watch out for the ones who are putting everything on the line to be able to share their message. That's my guidance.
Powerful. So in the past, you've talked about realizing that there were greater forces at play, you know, with, you talked about deaths in the family, unhealed, you know, wounds, parental wounds, I think you call them.
Everybody's got them.
Right. So again, for myself and for our listeners, and we don't have enough time, obviously, to talk about that very, very deeply, but if we could help some people on where to start. You know, you talked about going back generations. I've never heard that before. That sounds really hard, but also really powerful in and of itself. So how do we help some people today?
Sometimes all we need to know from living this life right now, being alive at this time on the planet right now, is that it's all okay. For me, when I check into the message that will help all the inner children the most right now, everybody's inner children are so triggered and alert and just waiting for that next thing to just pop up, to be like, nah, what's it gonna be next? You know, what's gonna try to throw me off next? And so everybody's energy bodies is really on alert. And I feel the conscious energy that I'd like to share right now with everyone, and conscious energy is very different than mind energy. Conscious energy activates vibrations and frequencies within your being. And so it goes beyond your mind, and it connects to the parts that are activated by this type of truth.
Wow.
Because the energy is backing the truth. The words are just shells. I could sit here in silence and you can receive the energy still. I'm putting it into words because it helps it easier to digest. Yes.
Okay.
So even if I were to sit here in silence and hold space and reassure everyone on an energetic level that they are safe, they're okay, the worst is over, and it's only the beginning, and you will feel that, and you will call in those experiences today and from here on out and for the rest of your experience here on the planet. That's how powerful conscious energy is. But I'm going to put some words to it because it does make the mind feel good.
Okay.
Roger, I want you to get ready by closing your eyes and sitting in your body and just landing in a space of integration. So much was shared, so much was spoken, so many icebergs were danced upon. It was titillating, and it was funny and authentic and heartfelt. And well, I'm tooting my own horn here. I don't mean to do that. I just really want to appreciate all the experiences that I had in this beautiful time that we shared together. And those were my experiences. I felt all of those things. And I'm sitting here in gratitude for this and sharing the last practice, exercise, or offering that I can share with your pure heart listeners. And this will be my gift, my closing out gift for our podcast, our time together. And I want you to imagine the back of your heart has a door. What does that door look like? Who's chained it up? So let's take the chains off the door. And yes, break it open. And you will find that the front of your heart is already wide open. And now that the back of your heart is also opened, it won't be so stuck. You won't blow yourself out. You won't give so much that you're depleted at the expense of yourself. You won't do that because you'll keep surrendering and allowing that energy to flow through you, back of the heart to the front of your heart, all the way around you. Now circle it to the top of yourself and then all the way to the bottom of your feet. Now expand your field. We talk about real estate in 3D, in what I call our physical reality, current physical reality. Real estate, physical real estate is something, but energetic real estate is everything. So let's widen that energetic real estate around yourself and then permeate it, this force field, past your state, across the country.
Power of love is here now.
Around the world.
Power of now is here now. The power of you, me is here to create magic on
earth. Who are we waiting for? What are we waiting
for? Power
for?
of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me is here to create magic on earth.
I'm excited because all your listeners are my co-creators for the new earth. And those are the ones that are rising in love and doing those difficult things that are unseen and unheard and unrecognized through suffering and pain, through incarnations of doing this over and over and over again, so that we could be here now to experience this together. We're a soul family.
Let the water wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fear. Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you, nurture you. Oh, power of love is here now.
You are here now.
Power of now is here now.
Thank you for being here
now. Power of you is here to create magic on earth.
I'm so excited to create magic on earth with you all.
Power of love is here now.
Thank you for your existence.
Power of now is here now.
Thank you for your courage.
Power of you is
Thank you for going through all you have gone through to be here now. Honor yourselves. Honor each other. And know that you can tap into infinite consciousness right here, right now, that gives you access to everything within you. So stop waiting. Don't wait another breath. You get to feel good right now. Feel good now. Feel good now. I feel good now. It doesn't take anything for me to feel good now. I feel good now. I feel good now.
Let the fire burn away our fear. Let the wind blow into your life, such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you.
There's nothing you can't forgive. There's no one you can't love. This is who you are. This is who we are. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being alive on the planet right now. If you are alive, receiving this, you are meant to be here. I honor you so much. You are worthy of experiencing pure love energy because you are pure love energy. Take a deep breath in and receive the gratitude from Source, of which you are light rays of. You are just expressions of Source for a finite moment, so enjoy every moment of it. Let's honor each other, respect each other, let each other be. Everybody has a different story they came here to live. Let them live it. Live yours. I love you all. That's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for helping us. Thank you for sharing. There's going to be many more conversations, I know.
Oh, I love this, Roger. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning into American Real. Be sure to visit our website, americanreal.tv, or search for us on iTunes or YouTube for past episodes. While you're there, please rate us or leave us a review, as that helps others find our show. I am truly grateful and appreciate all of your support. If you'd like to be part of our inner circle or want one-on-one coaching, check out the American Real Learning Academy, where we have self-help groups and courses so you can build the best you. We also have a new Facebook group where you can connect with high achievers from around the world. If you want to go even further, maybe you're determined to write your own book or launch your own podcast, contact me today to see if we could help. You can reach me through Instagram or Facebook, or email me directly at roger@americanreal.tv. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.